we're out in the shop again. Weird, I know. Um, Actually, it was out a couple times racing. I'm just terrible at getting race footage. I get other people to send me videos of my passes, but I have had a hell of a time trying to remember to get the cameras charged, get the cameras on the bike, with all the tuning and clutch stuff, and just making sure everything's right for a pass. I'm just horrible at getting cameras on the bike. But I did go testing last week on, I think, Wednesday night. Broke the subframe on the bike. Second time after I just repaired it once. I repaired it. Well, I welded what was broke and then kind of cosmetically made it look as if it wasn't repaired, and that was my fault. I should have reinforced where the brake was and beefed it all up a little bit. So on Wednesday night, the first pass I made, I saw a stress crack start. I thought it would have held up a little better, and by the time I made my third pass, it actually broke completely, and the tail of the bike actually dropped. And you can see here, this is all reinforced now. What happened was there was a window in here before, and it broke above that window on this back support piece above this bolt, and it didn't break on like the launch. It broke going through the shutdown. The shutdown was so rough that me bouncing on it actually applied pressure to these side pieces here, and actually started pushing out on this here. Actually flared this out, and then that's where the crack had started. It's a rough shutdown. It's not really. I'm not blaming the subframe in no way. Just a fluke thing, bouncing around. That's what initially broke it, and then it broke basically the same way after I figured out how I was more paying attention to how I was going through the shutdown, and that's when I was like, felt it actually let go at the end of the last pass I made. So with the race coming up on Saturday, it was kind of a mad dash. Wednesday night, was out of the garage here till about 1:30 in the morning, getting the subframe off. Then I fixed the subframe Thursday after work. Thursday after work I fixed the subframe, put it all back together Thursday night, loaded it back in the trailer, and we went and tested Friday night, and that actually went really well. And then Saturday, I left the trailer and the bikes at the track with a friend of mine that was camping out for the race Saturday. And on Saturday we got down there, it was like 9:30 in the morning, something like that, and we got the test before our event started. It was supposed to start about 5 o'clock. They were taking the timing system off. So what it is, it's a sort of a replicate street scene kind of race. They take the timing system off the track. There's just a line they paint on where the starting line is. They bring in each vehicle to that line, and then it's just flashlight start, and they got cameras at the finish line at the 8th mile. So cool event. But we actually got the test during the day before our event because they had I think it was an Import Wars type of event going on. So there was regular racing going on throughout the day. Lucky for us that we were allowed to test beforehand. So I did make 4 test passes. First one was pretty awful. It just left slow, and I can tell now that I'm trying to put some power to the bike. I can tell how the air was awful Saturday, and I can tell how that affects how the bike makes boost or how it comes up on boost. And I now know I had real good help with me Saturday. I now know where to make changes to help maintain that as the weather changes and gets crappy. But I'm out now at the garage. Basically, we had the race on Saturday. I didn't win, surprise. I did get to second round. I have a bad tendency of always drawing like the heavy hitters first round. I rarely get a bye or get like an easy round race. I don't take anybody light, but I also know who the heavy hitters are that I got to watch out for. So first round, I drew a pretty big gun, big Nitrous ZX14. Nice guy, great racer. I knew after my testing that I needed to step it up a little bit to make sure I had enough. And so first round came around, and the changes I made worked. The bike left like an animal. And looking at the data log, it was a real good pass. I can only guess the time. No time slips or nothing were given, but doing like overlays, I can see a documented pass, and then I can overlay my no time passes over that, and it'd give me a real close idea of where I was at. And it was a good pass, except that it drove through the clutch. So in my chasing a tune-up to get the bike to leave, I kind of missed the tune-up to hold power. So it left like an animal, and then it was driving through the clutch, and you could hear it on the shifts. The RPMs just, you know, if you race bikes, you know when a clutch is going, you just hear that, like they just, RPMs don't drop. And luckily, I got the win because the guy I was racing, actually, his bike killed on the line. Probably, it would have been a close race, but I got lucky that I didn't have a great tune-up, even though it was still a time-wise guessing, was still a pretty good pass. But I got lucky that he had trouble, and I snuck one by. Problem is, it smoked the clutch so bad that this event runs quick, and I tried to get the clutch. I mean, it was bad. It stunk like bad semi-truck brakes. It was hot. So I got it back to the pits and started getting stuff pulled apart, got fans on it, started getting the clutch out, and there was just clutch fiber material, and it smoked it. So I did get some of it switched out. I tried to add some weight to the arms to get it to hold the power for a second round. I drew another big gun, another old school nitrous bike, real fast bike. I did get the bike back together. I was running behind. So I got it back together and, you know, do my burnout, get up there, stage the bike, and I saw the flashlight come on, and I left him sitting there, and I never saw him. Like, I'm real good about being out of my peripheral. I know when someone is there. My helmet, even, it's a helmet I like because it has so much side view ability, but I never saw him, and the fucking bike started driving through the clutch again, and it wasn't holding power, and it left hard first gear, pulled first gear, second gear, it started to flatten off. The bike was basically like, it just stopped accelerating, but I didn't see him, and I just kept plugging gears, trying to just, come on, pull, and I finally, just in my head, I've been in this scenario so many times with nitrous motors that I'm good about knowing when something's not right to just save it. I've been real good about not having major catastrophes this year. If you watch my videos, you see I'm always catching little shit before it gets to be something major. And that ran through my head, and I seriously was trying to just baby it to the 8th mile. And I was out on him, like I said, enough that I didn't see him. And I was confident in rolling out of the throttle and just aborting the run that I might still get lucky and squeak a win out of it. And it was close enough that I thought I had it, or it was at least worth a video review. And we got back around into the pits, and they called his lane as the winner. And that's not a big deal to me. I lose all the time. It's not whether I won or lost. I wanted to see how close it was, so I wanted to see the video. And I guess part of me in my gut thought I might have squeaked it out. I did see him at the end when I chopped the throttle. That's when I saw him. So I knew he caught me at the end. I just didn't know whereabouts. So I wanted to see the video more or less to see, like, maybe I did squeak it out, or at least see how close it was. Because like I said, it's just, people at the 8th mile are calling it by eye. And if you don't ask to see the video, if it's close, it stays the way they call it. So I figured it was worth a shot just to see how close was it. And I saw I didn't see the whole, you can't see the whole video from that end of the track. It's just a straight up slow-mo across the finish line, but it's a little bit up track from the finish line as well. And frame by frame, I'm in front of them, like you don't see them. And then just like that, I dump the throttle and sit up. And then the still photo where they stop it at the finish line was, he beat me. He was at the finish line first, but my front tire was at his back tire, and you can already see in that picture, you can already see my helmet. It's a blurry picture because it's at speed, but you can see the like the ghost images sort of the bikes are a little bit blurred, but you can make out which bike is which and where they are and who's who and whatever. But you can see that he's at the finish line. I'm at his back tire, but I'm already sitting up. My helmet is up in the air. I'm out of the throttle coasting at that point. And I went back and I looked at the data log. So he gave me attitude about even asking to see the video, which I'm gonna bite my tongue a little bit here. It was a little bit disrespectful how they acted because I wanted to see the video because it was a close race. I never questioned whether or not I won or he won. I don't care if I won or lost it. I wanted to see how close it was. So they just assumed I was disputing his win. Like I said, I don't care. I just wanted to see. And they gave me a little bit of attitude. I gave him some attitude back. And I lost a lot of respect for that particular racer, mostly because of his son. Those of you that know me or know this race I'm talking about, know who I'm talking about and know what kid I'm talking about. And I have nothing to say to them from here on out. They're just another body in the pits. So I'm going to leave it at that. But I did go back to the pits and was hanging out with people, whatever. And then I saw a video of the race. So the other guy that I raced, he was pissed I asked to see the video in the first place. And his argument was he never saw me, he was in front the whole time. That was the part I was disputing. That basically was calling me a liar. And I have no reason to, like I said, I don't care. I have no reason to make up whether I was in front or not. He's fucking fast. But I was in front. That's just fact. So I got a video that somebody had sent me from behind, and I knew I left him sitting there because the bike is black and I can see the glare of the light off the front. I don't know if he had a headlight on or not. I don't think the bike has a headlight. Maybe it does, whatever. But I could see a glare off of it as we were staging, and when we left, I left him sitting there and that glare just fell back. I know I left on him. So the video I have, which I'll put in here, is from my lane, looking down my lane. So you won't see him leave, but you'll see from, say, 100 feet out on, it's pretty obvious I'm out on him. And if he wants to argue that he was in front of me the whole way, then the still picture at the finish line where I'm already out of the throttle sitting up, either his shit's so slow that I caught him sitting up, or like I said, I got out of the throttle and he passed me, which makes a little more sense. And looking at my data log, it shows I was out of the throttle at 4.7 seconds is when I chopped it. So in an 8th mile race, if I'm out at 4.7 seconds, where I'll go ahead and say the majority of the fast bikes are running around 5.0, that if I lifted at 4.7 and he beat me by one bike and I was in front, I'm guessing he only ran about a 5.0 or 5.1, just gauging, and my bike's well capable of faster than that. So this is just my argument about basically how I'm just gonna bite my tongue. I feel like I was in front. I think the video shows it, and whatever, you can have the win because he didn't really have any hard races besides me that night. So I'll just take it. You won't get around me again. But yeah, I lost a lot of respect for that guy and his kid. Just that they don't. There's sore losers and there's sore winners. The whole thing could have went a different way, and it didn't. That's their loss. So now we're out at my shop. Now I'll give you a little bit of a tour, we'll say, of what I've been going through here after that race. Wasn't a lot of time between rounds, and even though I only had to wait for, between first and second round, it went fast. It's a street style event. It doesn't really favor bikes like mine with slider clutches that need a little maintenance. So it kind of runs quick, So I'll show you what happened when I get rushed with the clutch, and what else I'm just kind of going through here, checking stuff out. So take a peek at some of this stuff. So we'll start with the obvious. After every trip to the track, when I get back to the garage, I always pull plugs. I look at plugs, do a compression test, and then I start going through oil, check filter, drop the pan, all that stuff, look for clutch debris, whatever. I'm always on top of trying to find stuff that could go wrong before it goes wrong. But these are the plugs after I got 6 passes on these plugs, plus idle time and riding around the pits. So I don't know, nitrous guys probably aren't used to seeing this, but yeah, that's, you know, that's many 180 plus mile an hour passes. So and I don't run intercooling either, so the fact that these aren't melted off, it's a pretty good sign. Tune-up might be a little bit lazy, but it's also safe. So here's the oil pickup out of the motor. There's a screen down in there, and it actually comes apart, so I'll clean that out all the time and get, actually you can see a little piece of debris in there actually right now, right there. Anyway, I'll get that out of there. But this actually came out of there. From the last time I had it apart, there's a piece of red rag that was probably in the oil pan, got sucked into the pickup. So there's a reason why not to use red rags on stuff. So I'll go through and clean that up the rest of the way. But yeah, I'm always looking for places for crap to go wrong and get stuck. So here's the oil pan. I'll take the windage tray out of it here, and then there's 2 baffles in there. So when the bike accelerates, oil can run to the oil pickup, and then when I get on the brakes, the doors shut and all the oil stay in the oil pickup, so I don't get oil starvation issues. It's a really cool pan. It's from Two Wheel Works. Yeah, just a badass unit that I think has probably saved me a lot of motors, as far as I don't have a lot of oil system failures, bearing failures. Usually I have mechanical parts fail before anything goes wrong with the oil. But yeah, so I'll clean that out, look for clutch debris, bearing material just in case. Been good so far. So we'll get that tore apart yet and cleaned up. Now onto this side. So normally I don't have to pull the clutch basket out, but if you can probably see already, the amount of debris that's in the bottom of this basket, that's what happened after the first pass when I said it was driving through the clutch. And I hurried to get the thing back together, and it actually stuck a couple plates, and that was the demise of this clutch setup. So even as close as that race was, it was just destroying the clutch through the whole pass. So had the clutch been, you know, we'll say a fresh clutch, and had I had enough weight on there to lock it up and not drive through it, it would have been a little more ugly on his part. So we'll call that he got lucky. But I got to go through, clean all that debris out of there, and then here is one of the bottom clutch fibers out of the motor. If you can see that, that's pretty, huh? So there is actually, if you look here, there's actually no clutch fiber material left on this thing. There's the pads where they were, but there's nothing there. All the material is stuck to the outside. And thankfully, these clutches that run these billet baskets, they catch all of your clutch debris. So minimal anything gets to the oil pan. And I actually already had drained that oil pan out. I still got to clean it off. But there was no clutch debris in the pan other than a normal amount of the real small, like sparkly, just fiber material. But none of this garbage made it to the pan. So the pickup never got any of it other than that little piece of red rag that I showed you. So there's a bonus to running these funny clutches, everybody calls them. The basket maintains or contains all of your junk. So thank God for that. So now I'll get this cleaned up and bolted in, and we'll set up a fresh clutch tune-up. So what I got to do here is put my oil pump drive gear on the back of my clutch basket. Set that in there for now. You kind of feel the oil pump gear and the crank gear fall into place. I will take my oil can, put a little oil on the shaft here quick. And then just the basket bearing, 2-piece bearing. Get some oil on that. Set that there. Get a little goop on that. And slide this all back together. There. Basket's in, gear is engaged, and oil pump's engaged. So now we can put my 3-piece Torrington bearing in. then billet clutch hub. Get a little oil back in there for good measure. Put our wave washer or cone washer and nut, and tighten that down, and we can start putting the clutch back together. So I got my new clutch stack all ready to go back in at the stack height that I set. And I know what you're saying. Oh, Chris, you have used steels. They're hot and discolored. Your fibers aren't all new. And I say, I don't care. They're still within spec for what I use. They're good. Actually, I've had real good luck because I rotate in new ones and used ones to keep my stack height the way it is. Eventually, all fibers go away till they're too thin to be reused. And the steels, if they're discolored, I don't give a shit. If they're flat, they're still usable. Never sandblast them, never Scotch Brite them. Leave them be. Coloring doesn't make them bad. Also, I keep this old tub. There used to be a tub of rags with a secret solution in there. Ooh, well, don't look too close. And I just go ahead and just drop all that in there. And we look, oh, don't look too close. So, my secret sauce. Oh, that's the good stuff. In case you're wondering what this stuff is on the clutch, it's elephant snot. Custom ordered from Africa. I got connections all over the world, really. See these clutch fibers? Custom out of Ohio. Nobody else can get these. The rare Ohio mix fiber. Pretty much the greatest thing ever. Just look at it. Would you just look at it?
thing I got to do is I'm just going to gap spark plugs here, and I probably could have got away with just reusing the other ones I had been running because they're still decent. Nitrous guys you could probably tune out at this point because it really doesn't make a shit difference what you gap your shit at, because it's gonna just end up burnt off and you're gonna cause an oil down as it is. So just get a turbo. They don't care, and they just run and run and run, and you don't have to have your on-kill tune-up to beat anybody. So all you need when you got a turbo bike to gap your spark plugs is your plugs. Sometimes 4 new ones, sometimes 4 old ones. Sometimes I just don't do it. It don't matter. Hot enough spark, good enough tune, they'll run. So we got our new spark plugs we're gonna put in here. Nothing special. And then you're gonna need a big effing wrench. And I'll show you why in a minute. So I got my feeler gauge here for what I like to get my stuff at. I don't know why I bother, but I used to be a nitrous guy, so I don't know. Maybe it mattered then, but it's still whatever. Nitrous guys just don't bother. So we're gonna go feel that up a little bit. It's a little bit loose. Now we're gonna head and take our wrench here. Oops. Check that again. Yeah, a little loose. Now we're gonna go ahead and take our wrench here, and we're just gonna take our spark plug and just beat the ever living shit out of it, until we get a gap we want. We just keep banging it into stuff until it's right. I mean, I could buy a $100 tool to do this. Look at that. Spot on. I'm not even checking that one first. Go through them little by little. Two down, 2 to go. Last one. There. 4 plugs gapped in less time than it would have taken to screw them into some retarded tool. Don't get me wrong, the tool is neat, but I'm old school, and this does a little something extra that you'll figure it out. Trust me, it works. Spark plugs are in there somewhere, I guess. I don't know. It's fine. Fine. So go ahead and put our coils in. Just whatever that lays in there. And this one goes, whatever in there. And we'll just, push that in. Come on. That one down there, that one there. And we'll connect them up. Uno, dos. Good. Go around the other side. Put one in there. Last one over here. Push them in. Plug them in. Whoa. I didn't hear that click. Click. Let's redo it. There it is. That clicked. Good. Good. I'll fire it up and then I'm done for the night. It's like 150 friggin' degrees out here. Give her a second.